Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together. And we have this evening, we're going to do a slightly shorter satsang this evening because we have a very, very special kirtan program that will happen right after satsang. So we'll end a little bit early so that you can all enjoy the beautiful and special kirtan. We'll begin, rather than taking any questions that came in advance, we'll begin this evening with any questions that anyone here has. Yes.
It's a question from the Facebook group, and the question was that, why do I get so angry all the time? I try not to be angry. I'm paraphrasing. I try to talk myself out of anger, but I'm so quick to anger. How do I let go of this anger for once and for all?
So anger is something that afflicts a lot of people, most people. And the dilemma is that we make these very conscious decisions. I'm not going to get angry. But it's not our conscious mind that gets angry. It's our subconscious mind that reacts. When we are fully present in our consciousness, that's not when we react in anger. Those are the moments where the only anger that we might feel is you're reading about the situation of hunger in the world. And you feel full of pain and anger that we could have a situation, a system in the world in which people are hungry. But that's not the type of anger that makes us shout and scream and punch holes through walls or hit somebody or do something that we later regret. That type of anger comes when we are unconscious. And so this is the dilemma. My conscious mind says, okay, no more anger. But when the anger arises, my conscious mind is nowhere to be found. I'm on subconscious autopilot, habitual reaction. And this is why the healing needs to take place on a subconscious level. It's also why I need to be more and more conscious. Because if I stay conscious, then I prevent myself from acting out in anger. If I am anchored and grounded consciously, then I'm not going to lose myself. When you are conscious, you never do things that you later say, oh my God, how could I have done that? Oh my God, that wasn't me. That wasn't what I meant. We only do that when we are not there. When we are reacting subconsciously, unconsciously. So, number one way of handling this is make sure you're conscious as much as possible. It's why we meditate. It trains us to stay conscious. It trains us to bring the awareness back. We get distracted. We bring it back. We get distracted. We bring it back. Get distracted. Bring it back. We keep bringing it back. And that teaches us and trains us in our life that when our consciousness goes off someplace and we end up therefore on this robotic way, this reactionary way, we learn to bring it back, to just bring that awareness back, bring it back. So we stay grounded and anchored. But the other way is to also treat that subconscious programming, which meditation does, and which deep healing does. Our anger stems from a sense that I'm not getting what I want. Jo main chahti hu nahi ho raha hai. Ya jo main nahi chahti hu wahi ho raha hai. What I don't want to happen is happening. What I do want to happen is not happening. And so we get angry. Because there's this sense that somehow we are entitled to the world, doing our bidding. And this is where really deep subconscious reprogramming is so important to really help us understand. I don't need this person to act in a certain way, this person to speak in a certain way, the weather to be like this, the traffic to be like that, my employees to behave like this, in order for me to be happy. Because that's where we lose ourselves. Is not only things aren't happening the way we want them to, but we believe deeply that therefore we cannot be happy because what I want isn't happening. And I need it to happen to be happy. But if we're able to tap into a source of joy within us, that's actually our nature. I mean, you look at kids. What do kids need to be happy? Their own toes. Right? I mean, anybody who's ever been a mother or a grandmother or an older sister or an aunt, you put a kid on the ground and their legs go up in the air and they are very happy to just keep playing with their toes endlessly. They get a little older. You give them a present. It's in a box. It's wrapped. They're very happy with the box and the wrapping paper. We're always the ones saying, no, open it. Open it. The present's inside. That's not the present. Open it. The kid is great with the box. It's only as we get older and as we develop these very hardened egos that we come to believe that we need so much in order to be happy. Not just the money I want or the items I want, but I actually need everything in the world to go according to my design. Only then I can be happy. And this is why that reprogramming is so important to realize. I am joy. I am that same being who was happy with her toes. What would it take to go back to a place where my own toes were all I needed to be happy? Right? A full belly. Kids also, the things they cry about. Their diapers are full, their bellies are empty. What would it take us to go back to a place where, assuming that our metaphoric diapers are empty and stomach is full, that our own toes are all we need to be happy? And how beautiful is that? How much would we be able to let go of in our lives that we're so attached to, thinking it holds within it the answers to our happiness? And that's actually the key on a deep level to helping us move through anger. Because as long as I need so much in order to be happy, when I don't get it, I'm going to be miserable. So either I'm going to be depressed, anger-focused inward, or I'm going to be furious, pain-pointed outward. But it's that same sense of, I'm not getting what I want. and the pain of that. Because I believe that getting what I want is what I need. So if we really could learn that we don't actually need it. Yeah, it's nice when people talk to you nicely. It's nice when they're respectful. It's nice when they keep their word. It's nice when they don't lie and cheat and steal. But actually the truth is, I can be happy. Even if other people are lying and cheating and stealing and being rude and obnoxious. And if we can realize that we can be, well, then you'll find your anger dissipates. Obviously, your joy grows, but you become free of that anger because I no longer need you to stop being obnoxious in order for me to be happy. I no longer need your respect in order for me to be happy. And so I'm able to let go. So that's the work. Other questions? Yes.
Thank you. This is maybe piggybacking on the last question a little bit, but I've always had a conflict in my mind. On the one hand, I feel like practicing spirituality, there is a promise, and maybe this is a misconception on my part, that you will be able to be happy or blissful or joyful all the time. And on the other hand, you could instead just accept the negative emotion, anger, sadness, when someone's being rude or obnoxious to you. Or let's say something worse, like say a family member passes away. To me, it would be unnatural to be happy in that moment. So to resolve that conflict, is the goal to be happy or blissful or joyful all the time? Or is it to just be okay with what's happening to you?
Beautiful. It's on two levels. So the goal is to be what in the Bhagawad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about equanimity. It's that balance, you could say that okayness, but it's more than okayness, it's a joyful balance. In the face of pleasure and pain, gain and loss, joy and sorrow. Now you think, well, how am I supposed to be joyful in sorrow, as you say? And it's on two different levels. It doesn't mean that we are disconnected from the world or cut off from the world or don't care what's going on. It's that regardless of what is happening on the external level, a loved one has passed away, for example. There's a divorce, there's a passing, there's tragedy in the world, hunger in the world, women dying in childbirth, war, environmental destruction. There's a lot to be in sorrow about. And spirituality doesn't say, thou shalt push everything else away and be happy no matter what. It's not the I'm in denial happiness or I'm disconnected happiness. It's that flowing through me on the deepest, corest, eternal level is a river of divinity, of grace, that is in and of itself joyful because that is its nature. And here in a human body, connected to the world I live in, there will be moments of sorrow, of loss, of sadness, of anger. And what I am able to do in those moments is accept it, open to it, not push it away. In the Mahabharata, as Kunti and Arjun and the Pandavas, as they lost children, grandchildren, loved ones, Bhagawan Krishna didn't say, smile through it all. He didn't say, come on, chin up. You're a spiritual person. It's okay that your kids are dead. No problem. Smile through it. It wasn't that. But it was, don't lose yourself. That capital S self. Don't disconnect from that source within you which is eternal, in which there is no death because there is no birth. There is no loss. Don't lose that connection to the eternal soul, to the spirit, to that river that flows through us, quite literally. That river of grace, of love, of divinity, of joy. Not because today is necessarily a great day. There were days in that war that were not great days. But because despite what today has brought on this particular stage of this particular scene of this drama of my soul's incarnation in this body, in spite of that, there's still a river flowing through me, an eternal river of divinity whose nature is joy. So that's the joy that we are able to tap into at all times. It doesn't mean that we don't feel the full range of human emotion. It doesn't mean that we push things away. It doesn't mean that we become, emotionless, cut off, like rocks in our hearts. If God didn't want us to cry, He wouldn't have given us tear ducts. If He didn't want us to love, He wouldn't have given us the ability to do so. And not only the ability, but the inclination to do so. But through it all, as we lose, because there'll always be loss, there'll always be pain, we're anchored in a river of joy, of love, of divinity that flows through us. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I was also having the same question, but it's little personal because, I just want to be happy now, because just 3 months back I lost my wife, and so now, you were just telling me that how to be happy, whatever happens. So I just want, what should I do now to be happy? And I'm feeling the pain, and because I heard so many people that they are saying that her mom pains is much more bigger than you and all these things. So I was just, is there any variation on pains also?
When we lose and we grieve, he mentioned he lost his wife 3 months ago. And he's looking to be happy, what to do. But people tell him that his wife's mother's pain is more than his, so he should, I guess, be happy about that. But, it's so sad when we're grieving. People try. They try to say things to make you feel better. But we're really clumsy. and we're really unskilled. And we say things out of pure intention that actually end up being worse than useless. Like, your wife's mother's pain is worse than your pain. Who could say? Is the pain of a mother losing her child objectively more than the pain of a husband losing his wife? I would never say that. I don't think you can say that. I think in the scheme of things, parents don't expect to lose their children. Children know they're going to lose their parents. But parents don't expect to lose their children. Now, you're young. So the same expectation that her mother had that her child was not going to die, I imagine was an expectation that you had. You know, people start thinking about the possibility of losing a spouse when they're in what we would call old age. You're not in old age. You don't even look like you're in middle age. So, yes, it was unexpected and therefore deeply painful for a mother to lose a child. But it was also deeply unexpected and therefore painful for you. And the truth is, even when it's expected, even when it's children who lose their parents who are a ripe old age, it's still painful. Every day people come through here, how can I move on? I lost my mom, I lost my dad. They were 95. I know they lived a good life, but I can't go on. So I don't think that you can ever say one person's pain is worse than another's, or that somehow one person is more justified in being in pain than another. But I think that probably whoever told you that was simply a bit clumsily trying to make you feel better by comparing your situation to her mother's situation. It's like saying, yes, I know things are really bad for you, but, you know, there are kids dying of starvation in Africa. Which is true, but it doesn't usually make you feel better. It just makes you feel doubly sad for them as well. But it's someone's kind of well-intentioned but clumsy attempt to try to make you feel better. In terms of you finding happiness, you know, 3 months is a really short period of time. That pain is still going to be there. And what I would suggest to you is that rather than trying to figure out how to get free from the pain, because all you're going to do at that point is suppress it, repress it. It's still very raw. 3 months is nothing. Instead of that you open yourself up to allow whatever it is that's present for you. And I think what you'll find is there's actually a lot of happiness that's present for you more than you necessarily realize. So for example, let's say a memory of your wife emerges. And suddenly you find yourself overcome with pain because she's not here. And tears fall. It's okay. You sit present with that pain. But what I think you'll notice as you simply allow the emotions to rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, without grabbing onto any of them, is that they actually move kind of quickly. So there's pain from this memory. But then that memory leads into another memory and suddenly you're smiling. Because suddenly you're remembering such a beautiful moment and you're right there. And you're just full of joy and love. Maybe even laughter. And then in another moment you're hit by the fact of, oh my God, I won't have that anymore. And then maybe there's anger at the universe. And then maybe you can hear your wife's voice telling you not to be angry. Maybe her voice having reprimanded you for being angry at earlier times, and you smile inside because you can feel her with you. And there's a joy that's there. And then maybe there's tears. And what you'll find, I think, is that the emotions like waves in the ocean come and peak, and then they go. And they come and they peak and they go. And right now, your job is just to allow whatever's there. And see how much time you can spend engaged in bringing love and healing to others. Because when you're looking for happiness, regardless of why we are sad or depressed, helping others is the very best antidote to it. Best antidote. Serve others, help others. Bring a smile to others' faces. But especially when we are suffering the pain of loss, to be able to serve others whom you are connecting to directly. Go out, work with kids, the homeless, sick people, volunteer in a hospital, in an orphanage, in a soup kitchen. Make food and give it to homeless people. Buy a bunch of blankets and go out and distribute them on the street now that it's winter. Do things that make you feel alive and connected. Don't think in your mind, I'm looking for happiness. Because that you can get with a comedy movie, but then it's over. What you're looking for is something deeper. You're looking for a reconnection to life. She was, for many years, that connection to joy in life for you. You're looking to a new connection to life. So look for opportunities to serve, to connect with those where you can bring a smile to their face. And you'll find that inner joy start to blossom again. An inner sense again of meaning in life, of a reason to get out of bed in the morning, of connection. But you know what? There may be days you can't get out of bed. And that's also all right. Because in that pain, you've got to nourish yourself and nurture yourself and have compassion for yourself. So just allow. Allow what's there when it arises. But for whatever time and energy you have, use it serving others, those in need. And I think you'll notice a big shift start to take place. And I'm so sorry about your wife. I'm going to end satsang here so that we have time for some beautiful, beautiful kirtan. And is everything ready? Sab set hai kirtan ke liye? There will not be satsang for the next 2 nights. I'm going to Calcutta early tomorrow morning for a beautiful, beautiful program of doing arti on the banks of the Ganga. You know, we talk about from Gomukh to Ganga Sagar. this path of Ganga. So usually we do Aarti right here where Ganga comes right out of the mountains. But we've been invited and requested to do a very special, very large Aarti ceremony for the people of Calcutta out on the banks of Ganga just before she enters the ocean. So I will be back on the 14th, which is Monday. And so we will have satsang again on Monday evening. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evenings. A beautiful morning and day for our family joining us from all over the world. And so much love to you all. And I do hope that you will stay and listen to the beautiful offering of Bhakti Yoga by our beautiful Parmarth family coming in from across the world and offering this sacred offering.